People sometimes seek my opinion about hiring the best lawyer for their case. My name is Andy Siegel. I'm a criminal defense lawyer. And what we're going to talk about today is what I call my 10 commandments for hiring a criminal defense lawyer in Alabama. These are my opinions. You may differ, but hopefully these are some good pointers to help you get the right lawyer for your case. Commandment number 1. Integrity is critical. Your lawyer is your face in the courtroom, and rightly or wrongly, that telegraphs to you. So if you're represented by a lawyer who has a reputation for being unethical or dishonest, that can really adversely affect your case. Plus, hopefully you don't want to be dealing with a lawyer that you yourself can't trust. So, first commandment, integrity is critical. Make sure that you're getting an honest lawyer. Choose a lawyer with skill. What I mean by that is you want a lawyer who has the skill and the experience and the talent in the particular area of law that you need. You want somebody who has the relevant skills for the area of law that is particular to your case. Find out your lawyer's reputation. Do everything you can reasonably do to try to ferret out something about the lawyer's reputation. It's not always as easy as it sounds. Again, talk to people who know the lawyer, ask around. You may even call people you don't know. You might want to call other lawyers. You might want to talk to people who work in the court system. But you want to do what you can to try to get an honest opinion as to the lawyer's reputation. There are websites that purport to rate lawyers. Some of them are better than others. Just take those things with a grain of salt. Be aware some of those websites that rate lawyers can be, somebody can game the system. In other words, somebody calls up their 5 cousins and says, hey, give me good ratings. Or they say to some other lawyer, hey, I'll trade you a good rating if you'll give me a good rating. And so sometimes even the lawyer rating websites are pretty deceptive. I'm not saying they all are. Some of them are better than others. But just take those things with a grain of salt. Interview any lawyer that you're considering hiring. It's very important that you feel comfortable with whatever lawyer it is that you ultimately wind up with. You're putting a lot of faith in that lawyer, and your very future can be in that lawyer's hands if you're charged with a very serious criminal offense, as well as your reputation and all sorts of other things. And it's best that you talk to a lawyer face to face so you can get a feel for and a comfort zone in talking to that lawyer. If you can't do it in person, at least do it over the phone, but ideally, if possible, go meet the lawyer, talk to them face to face, and see if you're comfortable with that lawyer. Be very wary about trusting a recommendation of a lawyer from a bonding company. The problem is that among some bonding companies and among some lawyers, there are kickbacks. What it means, of course, is that you're not having a free market. And you don't want to get a lawyer who you've got just because the bonding company is getting some money for it. You want the best lawyer you can. There's always a hometown advantage. If all else is equal, a hometown lawyer always has the upper hand, and there's a number of reasons for this. Number 1, a hometown lawyer is going to know the terrain. They're going to know what prosecutors are either willing to try a case or very gun-shy about trying a case, what police officers are good about showing up for court, which cops are a little liberal or who's robo-cop, what judges' views are on certain things, how they're likely to rule. All of these things add up to a potential large advantage to a hometown lawyer. So if everything else is equal between 2 lawyers and one is from the hometown and one is not, better with the hometown lawyer. Always get a contract when you hire an attorney so that everybody is singing off the same sheet. I think it's very important that you have a contract so that everything is specified. And read the contract. You want to avoid any potential confusion later on. Get a written price in advance. Make sure that that written price specifies exactly what it's for. Be aware of the bait and switch. Sometimes people will go and they'll hire a particular law firm thinking that they're getting a specific lawyer. And you're going, well, I hired old Mr. Wisdom. He's got 20, 30 years of experience. That's the guy I want in court. You show up in court, and his nephew, Mr. Foley, who's just gotten out of law school 3 weeks ago and just passed the bar, shows up. So when you sign a contract with a lawyer, you should make sure that it specifies who you're going to get. You want to make sure that you're getting what you bargained for. So be aware of the bait and switch. It may not be intentional. Sometimes lawyers just aren't available and things like that. But if you're trying to hire a specific lawyer, make sure your contract says, I'm hiring so-and-so and that's my lawyer, not just any Joe Blow who walks off the street. If you're paying for experience, you want experience. Now, lawyers, like any other professionals, want you to believe that there's some advantage in hiring us over some other lawyer. And sadly, there's some lawyers who will do things to get your business that are far from scrupulous. One of the things that lawyers will do is they'll hold up some sort of a plaque or something and say, I'm the top this or the top that. But the problem is there's a number of companies out there that are in the business of just selling plaques to lawyers. I've got here in my hand, I get these things in the mail. Here's one that's invited me. I'm not going to say them. I'm invited to the Association of Premier this kind of lawyer. Here's one where I'm been nominated to the best attorneys of this thing. Here's one that's saying I'm a top 1% or whatever. And you know, interestingly, for what is it, for a couple of $100, I can get a plaque that says that. Well, those companies aren't really honoring lawyers. They're selling plaques. So lawyers will go out there and say, they'll hold up some reward or something that says I'm the top this or the top that, trying to impress you. It's 100% horse poop. It's not legitimate in many of the cases where they've bought those rewards. I can go down to Joe's plaque shop and have something made up that says that. So be aware of that. Don't trust the fact that some lawyer has what may be a bogus award. There's some legitimate ones out there and some legitimate awards. It's hard to tell the difference between the fake and the real. So be cautious. Another thing to be cautious about are lawyers who say, I win 99% of my cases, or I always win, or something like that. The business that we're in, if you're a criminal trial lawyer, it's kind of like busting Broncos. That means sometimes if you're in the business, you're going to get thrown. Some lawyers are very slippery about how they define a win. Let me give you an example. I had a case, a murder case that I tried. Client was found not guilty. Now, if I wanted to be unscrupulous about that, I could put on my website, murder, not guilty. Yeah, but that's not the whole story. The fellow was found guilty of manslaughter. So, is that really a win? It depends on how you look at it. So, be aware of lawyers who are bragging and tooting their own horn or holding up what may be fake credentials. If you can't trust the lawyer you're thinking of hiring, then you shouldn't be hiring him. I hope this is helpful. Thank you.